So the end of 2024 is upon us, which means that I don't know. I actually don't know what was gonna go there. But if you've been around on this channel this past year, you know that star rating wise it's been abysmal. I haven't had a whole lot of 5 stars yet this year, so my goal for this final week is to try and find a 5 star. Now this isn't gonna be a reading until I get a 5 star video, because as soon as the January 1st this video ends, but I do hopefully want to get a 5 star in this video. I'm just technically it's just like a mood reading for the last week of the month kind of vlog, but I'm titling it I desperately want a 5 star because I desperately want a 5 star. I just feel like my luck has not been on my side, so let's just test it and hopefully we'll get there this week. Also, December has been such a busy month, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to read, and I just kind of feel sad about that, and I want to read more. So I don't have anything on this week, so hopefully I will get a whole lot of reading done, and I don't know, I'm excited to read. So let's do that. For my first read for this video, I kind of didn't really know what to read, so I just looked at my physical TBR and I picked out 3 books that jumped out to me for some reason. I generally can give you a reason for any of these, and I decided to read the first chapter of all 3 of them and then decide based on that which one I was gonna read. And yeah, I'm gonna first start us off with Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gone, which I didn't even read the first full chapter of because I just very quickly realized I'm still a bit sick, and this just, my brain is not ready for this. Like, I just wasn't computing like a new fantasy world properly. Like, it's not new. This is in the same world as These Violent Lies, which is like a decade later, I believe. But my brain's not fantasying, so I didn't even finish the first full chapter of this. I apologize, so that's not my option. And then I did have 2 romance reads, starting with Pen 57 by Penelope Douglas, which I actually don't know why I have bought this because this really doesn't sound like my thing. But like I said, for some reason this was jumping out to me to read. So I read the first chapter and honestly was pretty captivating. So there you go. And we also have Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey, which I fucking hate this cover so much. But I do have like a love-hate relationship with Tessa Bailey. There's some books I really enjoy by her, some I don't really. And this is one that I have left on my physical TBR that I've had for a really long time now. I've had it since 2021. This is still back when I put stickers on my book whenever I bought them. The other 2 don't have that, so it's an older book. But I got it in 2021, so it's been on the list for a while, so I thought I'd try it out. I don't know. I don't know why this jumped out to me, it just did. But I don't know. The first chapter was a bit cringy in my opinion, so I do still want to continue on with it, but I think for now I'm gonna pick Pen 57 because generally this first chapter already had me very captivated. In this book we follow 2 characters who as kids got like paired up together because they went to different schools, and as kids they got paired up together as like pen pals, and they've still now as like older teenagers, as they're about to like they're in a final year of high school, I believe, they still write that way, and they have not met, they don't know each other. They made the rules to like not meet, to not look each other up, because they have like this deep connection over the letters, and they're scared that if they meet IRL that things will change. And then at the start of the book, our male main character is he's in a band, and his band kind of like does this like scavenger hunt kind of project to raise money to be able to go on tour. And he kind of stumbles upon this girl who quickly realizes is the girl he's been writing letters to, but he also realizes that she is very, very different from how she comes over in her letters. And then from what I know about this, that was the first chapter basically, and from what I know about this book, he ends up going to her school, and then this is a bully romance, so she's like an awful person, not like how I know her in the letters to be, and he starts to bully her, I guess, to kind of like teach her a lesson. I actually don't know. I'll tell you more about it once I've read more, I guess. But I feel like that's the setup, which again, I've never read a bully romance. I'm already not like the biggest enemies to lovers. I actually don't know why I ever bought this, especially because I didn't like Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, which is a much more popular book by them, but like Pen 57 is not a really popular one. But yeah, I'm giving it a shot now. Hopefully, I actually don't think this will be a 5-star, but this first chapter was just so compelling, and I need something that's just gonna like grab my attention right now to just like pull me back into like that reading mood. So hopefully this will be that at least. But yeah, I do have some videos to film and edit today, so I am hoping and reading in between, like exporting and uploading and stuff like that. So hopefully I will get a good decent chunk of this read today, but we'll see. Good evening. It is the next evening. I apologize for not updating you earlier, but here we are anyway. I don't really have the most positive of updates, so let's just get through it. Let's start with Punk 57, which I have decided to DNF at 52 pages in. No. I think with this and Birthday Girl, Penelope Douglas isn't the author for me, but unlike Birthday Girl, I'm not even gonna put myself through this entire book, because this just honestly the best way to describe this book so far has been, I'm 14 and this is deep. You know what I'm talking about? Except these people are 18 and genuinely think they're being so fucking deep while they're saying the most basic shit in the world, and it's just so painful to read. And it just is trying to be edgy and cool and dark in this way that just feels so disingenuous and fake and cringy, and I'm just like, no. And then also, you know, I knew from the start that a female main character was gonna be an unlikable one, but where I stopped reading was in a scene where she's talking to this guy that's like kind of sort of her boyfriend, but like not really, but like kinda, and they're talking, and in that conversation she ends up looping in another person at the school, like an emo boy, and like he gets bullied on a lot, but like she ropes him in that conversation, and that turns into this kind of sort of boyfriend of her making fun of him a lot, and including the F slur. And she just sits by, watches this happen, doesn't give a shit. And I'm like, you know what, you might not have said the slur yourself, but if you're just gonna idly sit by and let this behavior happen, and like, especially when you are like partially responsible for it, like the reason your kind of sort of boyfriend was attacking his boy is because you included him into the conversation, you can't recover from that, at least not in my book. And I did not want to stick around to see how the author was going to try and attempt that. So yeah, I don't know, that gave me like the biggest ick, and I was already just like not vibing with it, so I do feel disappointed by that. And then last night, actually, one of my ebook hauls came in from my library, which was Bergedol Ogen van Suske en Wiske, which is edited by Lisa Noteris. And I started reading this because even though I never really read Suske en Wiske a lot when I grew up, Suske en Wiske is a very famous like Flemish comic series, you know, I dabbled a little bit. I do know some basics, and I just think that teaching history through pop culture is like very interesting to me, so I was very interested in reading this. And I do have to say, I literally just finished it right before talking to you, because it is like relatively short, and I gave it 2 stars. I also didn't really like this one. This is compiled up of essays of these people. Basically the idea of it is to delve into like this certain topic of Belgian Flemish history in particular, and connecting that to Suske en Wiske and stuff that happened within those comics. The problem is that I don't think this book actually does that. I feel like from a lot of these essays, it's just the author going like, I love this subject, I also love this comic series, let me try and connect the two, and it doesn't really work that well, and it just ends up being mostly about like that connection with the comic series instead. Or on the other hand, just it's such a massive fucking reach that I'm like, did you stretch before that? Because there's no way. It's so projecting this thing onto it. I also think that it calls back to like kind of like the same thing a lot, and I feel like the editor of this could have done a better job making sure the same like plot from like the same comic doesn't get explained in like almost every single essay, because it's important to almost everyone's point. Like, you could have cut that out. Like, I don't need to read the same plot description 10 times. I really don't. But I did. And I don't know. I feel like some people's points contradicted each other, which I think is just a bit strange. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it could have been put, like, in a way it was put together that was just a bit odd as well. But overall, it's not like a 1 star. I didn't hate this, because I do think there are some essays of value in here. So yeah, I don't know, I didn't like it. And like I said, this vlog is kind of my quest at redemption for 2024, and so far it's brought me DNF and a 2 stars, so that's like not great. But to be fair, also both of those were impulse reads. The only kind of downside I have to that now is I have no fucking clue what I want to read right now. Like, I am in such a reading mood, but like nothing sounds interesting to me. So I'm just, I don't know what to read. So I know it looks like nothing at all has changed, but it is Monday evening. How you doing? To be completely honest with you, yesterday I didn't update you because I also just really didn't feel like reading. I don't know why. I think just like the whole concept of the year almost being over, I started doom thinking. I was like, it's never possible, so why do I even try? And I just got in my head too much. I didn't read. But I did pick up another ebook on Saturday, and it's X Marks the Spot by Gloria Shao. This is a YA contemporary following our female main character who, just as she graduates high school, gets a visit of her grandfather's lawyer, and she has basically always thought that her grandfather passed away when she was like a very small baby. And this lawyer basically like comes to her and is like, your grandfather passed away 2 weeks ago. Turns out all this time he's been living in Taiwan, and now in his inheritance he basically left this kind of scavenger hunt across Taiwan for our female main character to get her inheritance. And she jumps on the chance because she, like, her mom is very, like, we're American, so we focusing on that now instead of, and kind of like shut her out about like her Taiwanese roots, and like didn't teach her a lot about that. So she is very excited to go to Taiwan to like learn more about that. It's just that the only way that she's able to get to Taiwan is with this kind of program that is run partially by her ex-boyfriend, who she hates, as also kind of like her academic rival. And yeah, I'm assuming, I'm not far in yet because I didn't really read that much on Saturday because I was more tired than I thought. But from what I read, it seems like, and also just from like the synopsis and the cover, I'm assuming that he'll also have to help her out because he can speak Mandarin, she can't, and I'm assuming that will mean he has to help her out with this scavenger hunt. I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, I am enjoying that. It's just that I'm finding it hard to get into, but I think it's a fun time. And I think once we're in Taiwan and we're doing a scavenger hunt, I'm gonna be like much more into it, but we'll see. I don't know that yet. And like I said yesterday, I didn't really read anything, and then today I made maybe the fatal mistake of picking up this absolute brick of a book, and that's A Culture of Light by V. Schwab. This is the final book in the Shades of Magic series. I just, I wanted to be productive, so I was like, I want to finish a series before the end of the year, another one, have that ticked off, because that's always nice. Like, to be fair, I've been reading this for most of today, and I'm on page 276, so I have read a really large chunk. And honestly, throughout today, I oftentimes get very distracted, and now it's the evening, and that's most of the time when I can properly like crack on in a book nowadays. So I'm predicting to make very much more progress before the end of the day in this book as well. And maybe I'm delusional, but I genuinely think I'll be able to finish it before tomorrow at midnight. So wish me luck. I have to say that the Shades of Magic books are just like really quick reads for me. Book 2 I also was very intimidated by because of its size. I flew through that one as well. So I am presuming it will be the same. What fellow? I'm assuming that will be the same for this third and final book in this series. If you don't know, the Shades of Magic series is a series in this world that basically has parallel universes, and each of the different universes has like different levels of magic. And we follow Kel, who is from basically the universe with like the most magic at the moment, but he is one of very few, like I mean very very few people who can travel in between the different universes. And then we also follow Lila, who is from the universe without any magic at all, but somehow she seems to have some magic as well. And yeah, there's more to the series, but I feel like this third book is something so incredibly different than book 1 and 2. Like, each book has such a different vibe that I don't feel like explaining more to you because I feel like that's pointless. But yeah, I've been having fun with this book. It's definitely much more action packed than book 2, which kind of my problem with that one is that it felt very filler. This one we're delving into some things. I definitely think some of the directions we're taking in this book are very interesting. It's just that I felt that I don't particularly care about any of these things happening. And I don't know if that's because we've had two books that were kind of lackluster to me before this, and if I was more into that, I probably would have been more into this. But I don't know, I'm not fully vibing with it as much as I feel like I should. But I do think everything that's happening in here so far is very interesting and very intrigued to keep reading. So I'm very excited to do that as soon as I stop talking to you. Okay, so it's nearly 11 p.m. I'm cocking in for the night because I'm getting too tired to process fantasy. And I read a lot of these books as I last talked to you. I'm currently on page 535, which means I have like 120 pages left. So I can definitely finish this book tomorrow. Who would have thought? Honestly. Also, can't believe I read like 500 pages today. Like, what's happening to me? Like, what? I do think I have figured out why I'm not connecting with this book, because right now where I am, I'm definitely like entering like the final act of the story where we're starting to like, you know, get into the climax of things. And it made me realize why I have not been clicking with this book as much as I want to. And that's because there was no sense of urgency. Like, we're dealing with end of the world shit. Like, generally urgent, get shit done quickly stuff. But we're taking our sweet time to do everything. And I don't, it just keeps me from being fully invested in a story as I wanted to. Like, we've done a couple of side quests even, and I'm like, bitch, we don't have the time for this. Gotta gotta get things moving. And I haven't felt that urgency in this book that I feel like you normally would in a circumstance like this. Hi, so actually it is January 2nd, so we're well into 2025, but on New Year's Eve, like in the afternoon, my grandparents ended up coming to visit unexpectedly. So with that and the reading I did and just general New Year's Eve kind of like happenings, not that a lot happens, but you know, a coziness, I guess. I didn't really have a time to update you. And then yesterday and today have been like crazy busy, like with getting shit done. Just, I don't know, getting my shit together for like everything in the new year. Like, I don't know, like setting up my journal for the new year, and like doing different like journal pages, planning different videos today, like getting all of my books situated for different videos and then filming those videos. So I apologize for being a bit late to this update, but on Monday evening, after updating you, I did read a little bit more of X Marks the Spot by Gloria Shaw, and I'm now 40% of the way through. And I was correct. As soon as it got to that page, this did pick up the pace for me, and I did settle into the book much more, and I like it. We do now have gotten to the point where she has kind of asked her ex for help with this scavenger hunt, treasure hunt, because she just realizes the way it's set up, because there's also a history between our families. Like, she needs his help because there is knowledge from his side of the family, like from his family, that is included in this as well. And yeah, I am excited to read that, but I did not finish it, so there you go. I am kind of sad about that. I don't know why. It's just kind of like a mental thing. I don't like having books cross years. But it had to happen. And then on New Year's Eve, I did finish A Conjuring of Light, which I still think is like the biggest accomplishment that I did. And I met this beast in basically 2 days. And yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3-star. Like I said in my last update, I just felt like this book meandered. How do you say that? This book meandered quite a bit. It just took such a long time to actually get to like the conflict of the book, and that sense of urgency was missing, and also felt very unrealistic for like the villain to be waiting around that long. Like, I don't know what he was doing. And then I do feel like the resolution with that villain just happened really quickly, and it felt very disappointing and just a bit anticlimactic. But overall, I mean, it's a 3-star. I did still have a good time reading this book. Like I said, I read this extremely quickly. I do still like the characters. I think this world is still very interesting. I actually think like the ending and just like the place our characters end up in is just so satisfying in that sense. Like, the plot in this one was lackluster, but like the character work and like the journey they went on kind of like personally, like the development, I do think was really well executed. Like I said, I like the places where they all end up. Might not be like the first place you think of for them, but like it all feels very perfect, and I don't know, I like it a lot. And that is how I ended 2024. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I feel like it is not the most interesting thing to exist, but oh well. I'm really bad at weekly vlogging. I apologize. Let me know how your 2024 looked in reading, and what's the last rating you gave a book this year? I'm very curious. For me, it's a 3, which sums up my year very well. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.